Welcome to the AI for Career Success podcast by Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition.
That is always the goal, staying ahead of the curve, but without getting, totally swept away by the hype.
I'm your host, Fred Jones.
And I'm Daphne Blake.
It's great to be back. This is episode 191, and today we're doing something a little different. Usually we're all about how to use these tools.
Right, the productivity side.
Exactly. But today, we kind of need to look at the cracks in the foundation. We're analyzing a video from the YouTube channel Redhawk Media Group.
It's titled, "This is Why AI Companies Will Never Live Up to the Hype." And honestly, it is a real bucket of ice water.
It really is. The whole premise is this massive disconnect. On one hand, you have what the source calls the hyperscalers, the big CEOs from OpenAI, NVIDIA.
And they're telling us we're on the verge of this godlike technology, curing diseases, creating infinite wealth, all of it.
And then on the other side, there's just reality. The average user who's just trying to get a chatbot to write an email without making something up.
Exactly. And the source argues that this gap between the promise and the actual tech has gotten so wide that disappointment isn't just possible. It's inevitable.
Let's get right into the numbers, because the source brought some stats that, frankly, kind of shocked me. We hear everyone's using AI, but the data suggests people are actually turning against it.
It really does. The video points to the Edelman Annual Trust Survey.
Which is the gold standard for this kind of thing.
It is, and the trend line is just plummeting. In the U.S., 50% of people now say they do not support the growing use of AI.
Wow. So half the country is saying, hold on, stop.
Pretty much. And the trust in the companies themselves is even worse. Only 35% of U.S. respondents trust AI companies. That's an 8-point drop in just 1 year.
That's a huge shift.
It is. You don't see that unless something is going fundamentally wrong. 57% are actively fearful it's going to be harmful.
So the vibe has shifted from this is cool to this is kind of dangerous. But you know how it is in the corporate world? Public sentiment can take a back seat to profit.
Oh, for sure.
But the source suggests the corporate side isn't going so well either.
This is what they call the value gap. And it's so important to understand. It's easy to buy the software. It's incredibly hard to actually make money from it.
Okay, so what are the numbers there?
They point to a BCG study. It found that only 4% of companies have mature AI systems that are generating, significant value.
Wait, 4%? That seems impossibly low.
It is. They're all going in on spending the money, but they're not getting the return. That same study said 74% of companies see little to no tangible value.
They're just pouring money into a black hole.
And there was another stat from an MIT study this year that really hammered it home. U.S. enterprises spend about $40 billion on AI systems.
$40 billion.
And 95% of those companies saw no measurable impact on their bottom line.
A 95% failure rate. I mean, if you spent that kind of money on any other project with those odds, you'd be fired.
You'd be escorted out of the building. But the video asks the right question. Why is it failing? Is it because all these companies are inept?
Or is the tool just not ready?
The source argues it's the latter. The technology acts like it understands, but it really doesn't. It's just a prediction engine. And when you put that in the messy real world, it breaks.
The McDonald's example was perfect.
Oh, the drive-through fiasco. A classic case of worked in the lab, failed in reality. On paper, it's a simple task. Burger, fries, Coke.
And they had to shut the whole thing down.
Total disaster. The AI couldn't handle background noise, engine sounds, kids yelling in the back seat.
Accents.
Right, accents. It was adding hundreds of dollars of chicken nuggets to orders. It just couldn't cope.
It's funny, but it really highlights the problem. If it can't handle a drive-through, how can we trust it with, say, complex medical data?
That's the exact comparison the source makes. They brought up the MD Anderson Cancer Center. They spent millions on IBM Watson.
The goal was to revolutionize cancer treatment, which sounds amazing.
It's a noble goal.
Yeah.
But they scrapped the project. It never even went live because the recommendations were just too inconsistent. It couldn't fit into the doctor's actual workflow.
So it leads us to the hallucination problem. And we should probably define that because it sounds like the AI is dreaming or something.
Right. It's more technical. These are probabilistic models. They don't know anything. They just predict the next most likely word. And sometimes the most likely word is a complete lie.
The video gave a really chilling example of that.
The one about the Norwegian man. It was really disturbing. A user asked for information on a real person, and ChatGPT generated a bio accusing this innocent man of murdering his children.
That's libel.
It's worse because people see the machine as an authority. It mixed real details like his name and job with this fabricated, horrific crime.
And it presents the lie with the same confidence as the truth.
Exactly. Confident incompetence. And it gets worse. Stanford tested chatbots on legal questions. They found the bots hallucinated 82% of the time.
82%.
Imagine hiring a lawyer who's wrong that often. And then there was the therapy bot.
Yeah.
A bot for people with eating disorders started giving harmful diet advice. And another bot. This is just awful. It told a recovering addict to take a small hit of methamphetamine.
That is catastrophic.
It just proves the model has zero understanding of safety. It's just matching word patterns it saw in its training data.
So the takeaway is, for low-stakes stuff, fine, summarize an email. But the second you need accuracy, the whole thing falls apart.
It's in a nutshell.
Okay, so the tech is flawed, but someone is selling it. The source spends a lot of time on the hype men, the CEOs. But before we get to them, we need a quick break. Let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Curt Robbins.
Hi, this is Curt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the AI for Career Success podcast, where we help you get smarter than your competition.
Before the break, we were talking about the tech failures, the hallucinations. Now we need to look at the sales pitch.
The source calls them the villains of the hype cycle, which is a pretty strong language. It specifically looks at Jensen Huang from NVIDIA, Dario Amodei from Anthropic, and of course Sam Altman from OpenAI.
And it argues they're basically creating an economic bubble by making promises that contradict their own data.
Let's start with Jensen Huang. NVIDIA is the darling of the stock market. What's the contradiction there?
Well, it's a logical one. Every time they release a new chip, Huang calls it a quantum leap. It changes everything.
Which is how you sell the new thing, of course.
Of course. But then, to calm down investors holding the old chips, he says the old tech never loses value.
Which makes zero economic sense.
Exactly. The source calls it word salad. You can't have it both ways. Either the new tech is a huge deal, which devalues the old stuff, or it isn't. But he has to say both to keep the stock price up.
Then you have Dario Amodei from Anthropic. I always thought of them as the more careful ones.
They're supposed to be. But lately, he's claimed AI will replace 50% of entry-level jobs and take over software engineering in, 6 to 12 months?
That's a terrifying timeline for a lot of our listeners.
It's fear-based marketing. But here's the catch the video highlights. Anthropic's own internal data says the opposite. Their studies show AI is augmenting work, not replacing it.
So he's saying one thing in public, and his own product data shows something else.
Completely disconnected. And then there's Sam Altman,
The face of the revolution.
The source really critiques him for jumping between two extremes. One minute, he's saying, AI will make everyone unimaginably rich. The next, it's AI might kill us all.
That's a lot of drama.
It keeps the spotlight on him. But the key thing the video points out is his use of the word brain. He calls it a brain for the world, which implies AGI.
Artificial general intelligence.
Yeah.
A machine that actually thinks.
Which we do not have. We're not even close. But by calling it a brain, he's setting users up for that disappointment.
Yeah.
You're buying a calculator, but he's telling you it's a brain.
And this hype creates what the source calls the CapEx bubble.
The financial time bomb. Investors are pouring hundreds of billions into infrastructure, into data centers, expecting huge returns right away.
But we just said only 4% of companies are actually getting value. The math doesn't add up.
It doesn't. And it's not just a money problem. There's a physical infrastructure wall.
The energy requirements.
It's staggering. The source estimates global energy production needs to increase by 30% just to meet current AI demand.
30%.
Yeah.
Where is that supposed to come from?
It's not there. And you can't just build a new power plant. The video says it takes 7 years just to get the permits for a data center.
7 years.
Yeah.
The tech will be totally different by then.
Exactly. So you have a technology that needs power we don't have, facilities we can't build fast enough, and costs money that isn't being made back. That is the definition of a bubble.
It sounds incredibly bleak. But the source doesn't just end there, right? There is a path forward.
There is, but it means we have to stop treating AI like it's magic.
Yeah.
We need to see it for what it is, a statistical prediction engine, a
Yep.
tool.
A tool, not a savior.
Right. And interestingly, the video points out a kind of redemption arc for Dario Amodei. Yeah, he recently published an essay where he walked back some of that hype, admitted AI is in an adolescent period with serious limits. It's a sign maybe they know they've pushed it too far.
So let's bring this home for our listeners. What's the actual strategy here? We aren't saying don't use it.
Absolutely not. You should use it, but correctly. The source gives 3 great pieces of advice. First, test small. Pick repetitive tasks.
Automate the drudgery, not the big decisions.
Second, do not use it for high-stakes decisions.
Yeah.
No legal, no medical. If being wrong gets you sued or fired, don't let the AI do it alone.
And the third one?
This is the golden rule. Ask yourself, would I trust this result if I paid a professional for it?
That's a great filter. If I paid a lawyer $500 an hour and they just made up a case,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be happy.
You'd fire them. We have to stop grading AI on a curve just because it feels new and magical.
It feels like we are at a real crossroads then.
The source says there are 2 paths. 1, we integrate AI realistically. We use it for the boring stuff. We accept its limits.
And path 2.
A massive backlash. If the promises keep breaking and the failures keep piling up, we could see regulatory gridlock, and we lose access to the tools entirely.
We either grow up and use it responsibly, or we lose the toy.
That's a good way to put it. We just need more transparency about what these models can't do.
Well, this has been a heavy reality check, but a necessary one. If you want to succeed with AI, you have to know its limits.
Knowledge is power, especially knowing what not to do.
It makes you think. If we stop looking for a god in the machine, maybe we can finally just appreciate it for being a really efficient machine.
And sometimes that's all you really need.
A great place to leave it. Thank you for listening to the AI for Career Success podcast from Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.